This is lecture 3 on the course calculus of one variable. So under this session we will be discussing the notion of least upper bound or supremum and the greatest lower bound or infimum. So having learned the notion of upper bound and lower bound, we can discuss the notion of supremum and infimum now. So let us define the first term, that is supremum or least upper bound. So for that we need to have a set which is bounded above. So let A be a subset of R. Again we are talking about this term in a R. So we have a subset of R which is bounded above. That is necessary condition to define the supremum of a set. A real number U, it's a element in R, is said to be least upper bound or supremum of A if it satisfies the two conditions. The first one is that this U is an upper bound of A. Okay. Second condition is that along with upper bound, it's a least among all the upper bounds. So how would we write down? Okay, basically what does this say is that is x is less than or equal to u for all x in A. Okay, so the second property says that it is the least among all the upper bounds. So that means if you have an upper bound, if B is an, say, if u1 is any upper bound, so given any upper bound of A, it has to be greater than that upper bound, then only we can say that it is the least among all. So then what happens is that u is the least among all, so u is less than or equal to u1. So what does this second property says? That any other upper bound of A is always greater than or equal to this supremum, this upper bounds, and in that case only we say that it's a supremum of set A. So basically here you are given a real line, okay, and suppose this is the set, this shaded part is the set, okay, and you have upper bound which will always lie somewhere over here. Okay, now among all this, you know that if there is one upper bound, we can find infinitely many upper bounds which are greater than any upper bounds. Okay, so we can find infinitely many upper bound. Now the question over here is that among this upper bound, there is one unique upper bound which is different from every other upper bound, and that is the least upper bound which is placed somewhere over here, okay, which is closer to the given set. Okay, now if we consider among all, if we consider this set of upper bounds for the given set A, it keeps on increasing. So what we do is that we choose the least among that, and that serves, that is the unique upper bound. We call it as the term is used as a supremum, or it's also called as the least upper bound, as the name suggests. Okay. So, now it is denoted by the notation for this, we denote U, that's a supremum, as sup of A or LUB of A. So, these are the two notation that are used to denote the supremum of given set. In a similar way, we can define the term, we can define greatest lower bound. It is a lower bound and it is the greatest among all the lower bound, or it is also called as the infimum. Okay. So, let we start with a non-empty set which is bounded below, that is a necessary condition for to define the infimum of a set, bounded below. A real number beta, or a real number, we call it as L because it is a lower bound, is said to be a greatest, or you can use the word over here the, because this is the unique one, but we are going to prove it, greatest lower bound or infimum of A if it satisfies these two properties. The first one, as obvious, it has to be a lower bound. L is a lower bound of A. That is, what is happening over here is that the definition of lower bound, L is less than or equal to x for all x in A. Second thing, it is the greatest among all the lower bound. Okay, you just look at this. Lower bound are always placed on the left hand side of the set. Okay, so and you can see that I can have the greatest lower bound which is closer to this set. So, and all the other lower bound are in fact lying to the left of this lower bound. Okay, and they are less than or equal to this lower bound, and so we choose the greatest among that, and it is the unique lower bound that we have. Okay. So, if say L1 is any lower bound of A, then it has to be less than, or it may be equal, because it can serve the property of infimum also. Okay. So, it has to be less than or equal to the greatest lower bound. Okay. So, if these two conditions satisfy, then we say that L is we denote this by L is lower bound. So, we denote this by infimum of, so that is INF of A, or we use the notation LUB of A, not LUB, GLB of A, greatest lower bound of A. So, these are the two standard notation that we use. Okay. Now, the very first exercise we have over here is that one thing you have already observed, the geometrical interpretation of this greatest lower bound and the least upper bound is that they are unique. So, if this thing does exist, then they are unique. Okay. So, let A, so I will prove this for the upper bound. In a similar way, you can prove it for the lower bound. We bound it above. So, if it is bounded above, then definitely it is going to have an upper bound, it is going to have a supremum, the least upper bound, okay, because we know that if it is bounded above, it has one upper bound, and so we can find infinitely many upper bound. So, we choose the least among them. Okay. So, let A be a bounded above, then prove that supremum of A is unique. Okay, what do you mean by saying unique? Unique means there is only one element which can serve as a supremum of A, or which has the quality of supremum of A. So we prove this kind of statement in a very general way. It has a typical way to prove something is unique. So what we do is that we assume that there are more than one supremum of A, or more than one element having that property, and ultimately we are going to show that both of these elements are same. Okay, so let me say that I'll directly start. Let alpha and beta be supremum of A. Okay, so now I'll use the definition. I'll simply make use of definition to prove that. So to prove that this alpha and beta are not different. Okay, so what I am doing is that I am challenging the statement. I am saying that if possible there are two supremum of A, and ultimately I am going to show that they won't be different, they have to be same. Okay, so that's our claim. So I always write down whenever I want to go to certain tasks, we always write down it as a claim. So this is what I want to prove: alpha is equal to beta. So how do we proceed? So first what I'll do, you know that being supremum, it has to be an upper bound of a set also. So first I'll say that since alpha is supremum of A, and I'll use the other quality of beta. Beta is also supremum, but beta supremum means it also have to be an upper bound. So beta is some upper bound of A. The relation that we will be having is that, okay, so since alpha is the supremum and beta is any other upper bound, alpha is the least upper bound among all. So therefore we should have alpha less than or equal to beta. So this is the one condition. Now you interchange the role. What I'll do is that I'll simply say that alpha is an upper bound of A and beta is supremum of B. Supremum of A. Basically what is happening, you are given much more superior statement of alpha and beta. You are having alpha and beta are supremum, but in the first statement I am simply using one quality of beta, that is beta is an upper bound of A, and alpha I am considering it as the least, that's a unique one, least upper bound of A, and so we have this relation, least is always less than or equal to any other upper bound. Now in this case I am considering beta as the least upper bound and alpha as any other upper bound, so we should have beta less than or equal to alpha, and so we have alpha less than or equal to beta and beta less than or equal to alpha. So by law of trichotomy we should have alpha is equal to beta, or in fact from the application of law of trichotomy we should have alpha is equal to beta. Okay, in a similar way you show that if A is bounded below, okay, then prove that the infimum of this set is also unique. So that I would leave it as an exercise. Yeah, so at the end the exercise set for you all is that consider, first one, consider the set A equal to open interval 0, 1 and B is equal to, okay, prove that using definition you can prove that 0 is the infimum of A and B and 1 is the supremum of A and B. Okay, so try to use the definition and try to prove this. Okay, so in the next class we will be discussing certain properties, in fact the more important and characterization properties of supremum and infimum. Thank you.